Okay.
Would you feel the same way too? I wanna know. Oh yes, I wanna know. The name of the game. I was an impossible prey. Does it mean anything to you? I think I can see in your face that it means a lot. What's the name of the game? Your smile and the sound of your voice. Can you feel it the way I do?
My innovation is Gamechanger. But the first thing to say is that this is a technology-free zone. No silicon chips or internet connections were harmed in the making of this innovation. Did you know that the focus group format was developed in the 1950s and has changed little since? Now, I've been very frustrated by the limitations of the technique, and this game changer idea came about from my work with research gaming and brand advocates. With the research game, I had a very engaging technique, and with the advocates, I had a very engaged audience. Putting them together gave me something that's more than the sum of its parts. It gave me a completely new qualitative experience, highly productive, very flexible, loved by moderators, respondents, and clients alike. So I've called it Focus Groups for the 21st Century. Playing games is very natural. It's something we all do. We enjoy the distraction, the intellectual or physical challenge, demonstrating our skill, the element of chance, competing against others, and of course, having fun and winning. My game sets two teams against each other. They play against the clock, and their goal is to reach the end of the game board before the other team. They do this by completing a series of tasks. The tasks are essentially a discussion guide broken down into team challenges. Now, here's a couple of examples. In a discussion guide, you might have what sorts of things frustrate you when shopping online. In the gameplay, you'd have, in the next 60 seconds, I want you to list as many things as you can that frustrate you when shopping online. The team with the highest number wins the round. And the game task technique lends itself to all types of inquiry, but particularly new ideas generation, like this one. Earlier you mentioned the poor website navigation was a frustration when shopping online. Your task is to design a new website which has much easier navigation, and you have 2 minutes. The team with the best design wins. Now, you'll have noticed that we don't allow very much time for completion. I've found this to be a fundamental for the game mechanics. Giving people too little time removes inhibitions and any time for rationalizing their responses. Everyone takes part and they all want to win. Now, the outputs are absolutely tremendous. In side-by-side evaluations, the gaming approach generates at least twice the amount of qualitative content over conventional focus groups. Focus groups are notoriously bad for ideas generation, but gaming sets the mind free and ideas just flow. So, why add the advocates? Well, it's important to describe what an advocate is. At Blau, we developed the philosophy of the super promoter, and we've even written a book. This is the person who is enthusiastic about brands. They share this enthusiasm with their social network, and they're very influential. They are word of mouth personified. They inspire others through their enthusiasm, driving consumption, product trial, and repeat purchase. Representing about 10% of any consumer population, they're influential over the 90%. So you could ask, why bother talking to the 90% in any piece of research you undertake? It's the 10% that know most about your brand and will inform others about it. So now we have respondents who are highly engaged, taking part in a highly engaging game. It can only work. Indeed, I haven't yet come across any qualitative inquiry where Gamechanger would not work, where it wouldn't generate more feedback and insight than a conventional group. It's a true innovation, for the first time bringing gameplay to the heart of the research process, and it involves those people who are the most passionate, productive, and valuable to a brand owner. Is it original? I think so. What about the presentation? Well, you tell me. What's the potential? I think it's immense. The scalability, completely. Implementation, anyone can do it.
It's so easy when you know
minutes. I might need a microphone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
First question. First question is, how much does it cost?
Well, I suppose it costs a little bit more than a traditional focus group would. The thing about the game aspect is sometimes we include experts. Sometimes we need experts if we're doing some sort of innovative developments because the two teams have another person working with them. So we have respondents and then we have another person. Very often it's from the client because they understand the market and the inquiry, but sometimes we need specialists. If we need visualizers, we have specialists. That makes it more expensive than a traditional focus group because you've got 3 professionals around the table.
And then the ROI answer?
The return on investment, well, I think that comes from the amount of productivity you get from it. You certainly get a lot more out of these sessions than you do out of the conventional focus group. Clients tend to look at the results of this and go, yeah, that's really good, that's wow, that's so much more than I would have expected. Difficult to actually quantify ROI because it's qualitative inquiry. So I just know that we produce a lot more volume of information and I think much better insight.
So how do you possibly protect this? Is someone watching this who can run a focus group should be able to do this tomorrow, no?
Yeah, it's very difficult. There's 2 things we've done. The game that we've developed is a very specific game which is patented to us, but yes, somebody else could design a different game. But we've got a lot of skill. We've been working with the game part for quite a long time, about 5 years. The advocates we've been working with for about 2 or 3 years, and we've developed some methods of profiling advocates. So there is a bit on each side, which I suppose is protectable, but you're absolutely right. If people get advocates in a game, they can do it.
Nice presentation.
Thank you.
With the format of the game, with how you've demonstrated it today, have you got the ability to be able to change on the fly some of the questions that you're going through the process?
Yes, absolutely. You are games master. That's the moderator's job. There is a bit of randomness to the inquiry and the way we do it. All the tasks are there, but there is a random element to the game. So we have 5 different coloured cards, and depending on which square is landed on, that picks up a different colour. But of course, the games master can cheat. He can shuffle the cards and do a variety of things. But also, we never do 2 the same. If we're doing a series of 3 or 4 sessions, we will review and change the questions as we need to make the next session even more productive. But yes, we can absolutely we can change things as we go. It is not inflexible.
So the Games Master side of it, if I'm thinking about the functions that they need to be able to do, how scalable is that? Is there a lot of training that is required for these people?
It needs to be the right sort of character. We've had a couple of people that we've used who just can't get it. They just don't get it. So I think you've got to have the right character. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But you have to have the right character to be able to convey to your respondents that you're playing a game. It's no longer a research process for them. You're playing a game. And by the way, this game lasts the whole thing. There is no let's now play a game. From the beginning to the end, and a session takes about 2.5 hours, from the beginning to the end, it's a game. And people are trying to win what's at the end of the game board.
So just a final question from my behalf in terms of the commercialization globally on this. There's got to be cultural sensitivities that are out there. How do you account for that when you're training your games masters?
That I don't know. I'll be very honest, because we've done some work with this in Europe. We've done some work in the States. So we've been doing it, if you like, in Western societies. We've never done anything, certainly here in South America. We've never done anything Asia or Africa. So that I don't know. All I do know is that wherever you look in the world, everybody plays games. So that should allow us to tune what we've got into something that's appropriate for local markets.
But what do you sell? The game, and any moderator can use it, or it's just your company to applying that one?
I think what we're doing at the moment is we are selling our expertise with the tools that we've created. In terms of how do we then expand that, I mean, there is if you know of ZMET, the Zoltman metaphor elicitation technique, that is sold under license to people around the world. I'm not sure whether that's the right approach for us. With Super Promoter, we have a centre of excellence, an academy where we're developing a lot of skills and knowledge there. So maybe we work it in a similar way, and maybe we just license a technique, and people who are involved can learn from the experience of others.
That's
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.